Michigan houses a number of fruit farms, and a large number of them grow apples. More than 15 varieties of apples are grown in southwest Michigan, which include but are not limited to Fuji, Gala, Honeycrisp, Yellow, and Red Delicious, just to name a few.
Buchanan School Farms is one of the farms that contains an apple orchard. Even though this orchard no longer produces apples due to the old age of the trees, the tradition of making cider still continues.
So, do you want to share with us the process of making apple cider?
Sure. So what happens is, first, obviously, you have to pick the apples. And then a lot of people used to use drop apples, which are the apples that have fallen off the trees and they're on the ground. But they are really moving away from that because of the diseases that might be in the apples. But what they do then is they take all the apples and they grind them up into like a mush. So think of like applesauce without all the flavor and all the sauciness. And then they put it on this, I guess a big cloth is the best way to describe it. But this cloth is kind of like a mesh in a way. And so then they put that all in a big stack. There are like boards between it that help hold it. But these are kind of like, I don't know, strainers in a way. You'd have to see a picture. But then they take something and they push it all down. And basically, I mean, think of just squishing an apple. Like, that's what happens, is it pushes all that juice out, and then it funnels down into a catch can.
Hi, I'm Corbin Blair, and I'm here with PBS Interviews for the Buchanan School Farm. I'm joined here today with...
Hi, I'm Kelly Lesh. I am a school board member, and then I am the school liaison for the Buchanan School Farm. I'm also a graduate of Buchanan, so I attended Buchanan Community Schools, and I got to do some of the programs at the school farm.
All right, so we're here today to ask you some questions about apple cider.
Okay.
How do you make apple cider?
So how we participate in the apple cider, or our program for apple cider, is that we go to a farm and pick the apples, and then we bring them back to the school farm. And then they have some old machinery that grinds them up and juices them, takes the pulp out and everything and juices them. And then we collect the apple cider, and that is the basic low level of making apple cider. So getting the juices out.
And how long have you been making apple cider at the farm for?
That one I'm not quite sure. I do know that it's been at least, I would say at least 30 years. The other thing is the school farm's been around for about 52 years. And so one of the things on the school farm is we had some old apple trees. So I think it started with using and utilizing the apple trees, but they have kind of aged out. So we are working at maybe replanting and regrowing the apple tree.
What is the process of making apple cider at the farm?
So we start off by going to an orchard that's local, so outside of Berrien Springs is Bixby Orchard, and they for years have allowed us to go out and pick apples, and then we take those apples out to the school farm where the students work in actual cider press with the help of adults, and they press the cider and learn how that gets turned into as apple juice, really not so much cider, and then they take that and they put it into jugs. So it's the process of picking the apples and then squishing the apples and then turning that and taking that juice and putting it into the jugs.
Okay. So how do the kids really help the process?
They do all of the picking of the apples at the orchard, and then they unload the apples from the truck when we get it back to the school farm. And then they actually run the cider press. So they put the apples into the top of the press, and then they actually have to turn the handle to get it to come out to the juice. And they're able to see and look inside that press to see how everything works. And then they take the buckets of juice and actually pour it into the jugs.
Okay. How many field trips does it take to make the apple cider?
Just one. We do it all in one morning.
Okay. So what do the kids learn about this process? Like, how does it help them with future life skills?
So this is like a culmination of the plant unit that we study. So at school, we're learning all about how the apple tree grows and the life cycle of the apple tree. And then we take that and then we turn that into how is the apple juice, apple cider made? How would people in the past have used the apple press to do that? So they're learning history, they're learning about the plant life cycle, they're learning the process of making that juice and how it's used. So there's a lot of different standards that we cover when we go on that trip, or it's the culmination of that trip.
Next time you sit by the fire with a glass of warm apple cider on a crisp fall day,
You just might think of everything that went into that delicious drink and enjoy just a little bit more.